Welcome to this masterclass on customer journey mapping essentials. And in this masterclass, Daniel and I will help you to discover what it takes to create professional customer journey maps with confidence the next day. So sit back, relax, put your phone on silent, and enjoy the ride. Make notes and let us know what you think. So first of all, what is it that you can expect from this masterclass? Well, we're going to, of course, be talking about customer journey maps. We'll dive into what they are, why you need them, how do you create them. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. So stick around if you're interested in that. And just to make sure, of course, you're watching this recording of the masterclass, but if you have any questions, reach out to Daniel or me through email or LinkedIn. You can find our details below this video and let us know if you have any questions about this topic. So with that out of the way, let us introduce ourselves. Daniel, would you like to start?
Yeah, hi, Daniel. I'm the CEO and founder of Custellence, a online tool. And I've been customer journey mapping for 20 years in a consultancy agency, a pioneering agency in the service design field, Transformator Design, which I founded it in 98 and run it for almost 20 years. So I'm kind of a journey mapping veteran, I would say. And hopefully I can learn you some mistakes that I've done so you don't have to do them.
I don't know a lot of people who have more experience with customer journey mapping than you have, Daniel. So I'm Marc. I run a service design studio in the Netherlands called 31 Volts. And for the past few years, I've been hosting a thing called the Service Design Show, which is basically a platform where I try to help service designers and people who are interested in service design take their skills to the next level by sharing interviews with people like Daniel, but also sharing some practical tips and how-tos. So if you're interested in that, make sure you check out the Service Design Show. But today, we're going to focus on one topic specifically that I think everybody needs to master and know about, and that is, of course, customer journey mapping. So is this masterclass for you? We'll go through this really quickly. This masterclass will be interesting for you if you want or need to create customer journey maps, but for instance, don't know where to start, or you're already making maps, but you're not sure if you're doing it right. Am I taking all the right steps? Maybe you've learned how to do customer journey maps on your own without any formal training, and you're just not sure if your process is really tight. Stick around because we'll be talking about that. Maybe you are overwhelmed by the amount of information about customer journey mapping that is out there, and you'd like to have some really clear and a credible guide. That's what we'll be giving you today. And also, you want to avoid time-consuming mistakes when creating customer journey maps. Daniel already said he made a lot of mistakes. I probably made more, and we're going to help you to prevent making those same mistakes and saving you time. And maybe there's something else while you're here. If there's something else, let us know. We're really interested to learn what that is. So our promise, this is our big promise, that is by the end of this masterclass, you'll know exactly what it takes to create customer journey maps on a professional level. And that last part is really important because I think anybody can create a customer journey map, but there are really a few people that are able to create them on a professional level. And what it is, that's also what we're going to talk about in this masterclass. So, topics we'll cover: why customer journey maps in the first place, how and when can you use them, what is a customer journey map? Like, it sounds like a really silly question, but it's really important to know what is a customer journey map. Have a clear definition. How does a customer journey map differ from something like an employee journey, a user journey, or maybe a service blueprint? Questions that we get a lot and that we'll talk about here. What are the steps to create a customer journey map? there are a lot, and we'll cover the most important ones here. And how much time do I need? Also a classic question. Can I make a customer journey map in a day, or do I need to do 3 months of research? Well, we'll give you the answer to that question in the coming 60 minutes. And what does it take to create them on a professional level? What separates amateurs from professionals in regards to customer journey mapping? That's at the end of this masterclass. So I think because you're here and you're watching this masterclass, you're listening to Daniel and me, I think we have a common goal, and that is we want to create a more customer-centric business. That's ultimately our goal, and I don't care if you call yourself a service designer, an innovation manager, a business process architect. Probably you're here because you want to create a customer-centric business and help to do that. Well, I hope I don't need to convince you that that's a smart idea, because there's a lot of research done on why it's good to be customer-centric, why it's good for business. This is a research done by McKinsey. They say if you focus on the journey, if you focus on optimizing the journey rather than optimizing just single touch points, you'll get a 10 to 15% higher revenue growth. You'll increase your customer satisfaction, and you'll lower costs to serve. There's a ton of research sort of proving that investing in journeys and in customer experience just is good for business. This is not soft, fluffy stuff. So, having gotten that out of the way, I think we also can agree that one of our common challenges is we have a lot of insights on how to improve customer experience, how to improve a customer journey, but we run against walls within organizations, and it's really hard to sort of turn those insights into action. So you've created a map, you know what to do, but how do you take it to the next level? How do you make sure that your insights actually make an impact on business and also make an impact on customers? Well, there's hope. Don't worry, there's hope. And it's true, it's a fact that customer journey maps can be a really powerful tool to turn insights into action, but you have to use them in a professional manner. And they look simple. Good customer journey maps look really easy, look really simple, but there's a lot of work and thoughtful practice that goes into creating them and using them. And I think once you get the hang of this, you'll sort of get superpower when you know how to do this. So imagine just what you can do. There's a lot of misconceptions about customer journey mapping. These are the biggest ones. You need to have years of experience to create professional customer journey maps. No, you don't. And we'll show you why that's not the case. That you have to invest days in order to create a map before seeing any results. That's not true either. You can really get results really quickly, and that you are always dependent on other departments. The classic ones are IT, HR, legal, stuff like that. People always run into barriers there. That's not true either. God bless you, Daniel. And that it requires large amount of user research data to start. Well, Mark, I can't do a customer journey map because first we need to do 3 months of field research. That is just not true, and we'll show you why that is. And I can't make a credible customer journey map that my colleagues will use because I'm not a graphic designer. They always look crap and stuff like that. We will show you that it's really easy to create credible customer journey maps without having an art school degree. So we already introduced ourselves. Daniel, there's one thing maybe you could share like in 60 seconds, and that is your transformation from Transformator to Custellence. So what is Custellence? Really quickly, because people will be seeing some slides where we use Custellence. What is it?
Custellence is a tool for customer journey maps to easily, in a very elegant and intuitive way, create your customer journey maps, user journey maps, experience maps, service blueprints in a cloud-based software like Trello or something. You just log in there and you create your journey maps. That's the first step. The second thing you do is that you collaborate, because everything is about collaboration here. So you collaborate in Custellence with your colleagues and stakeholders to create to work from the customer's perspective. And we started to create that in this consultancy firm that I run, because customers in 2014, 2015, something, 14, 15, we saw a need of really going from Post-its, Excels, InDesign, PowerPoints, and other tools actually that were around that weren't that flexible as we and our customers were dreaming about. So then we started to develop Custellence, and you could register for a free membership and just check it out, and just play around. And you will learn a lot just by doing that as well.
As a way to take customer journey mapping from the Stone Age into the 21st century. It's customer journey mapping 2.0, and I think once you have the hang of, once you understand the basics of customer journey mapping, that's really important. Then you can use tools like Custellence to really speed up your process. So we'll be showing a few screenshots of Custellence throughout this masterclass. All right. Well, almost at the part where you can take over, Daniel, but not before I tell you this, and that is, you're here watching this masterclass, and if you like what you're going to hear, and if you're interested to take it to the next level and really start creating your own maps, and would like to help some more guidance of Daniel on me, well, that's possible, and I'll show you at the end of Daniel's story how you can do that, how you can use more of our help, our guidance, to really help you step by step create professional customer journey maps. But first, let's dig into the topic of why customer journey maps in the first place. This was a Google search, image search, where what I did for customer journey maps or mapping, and this is the classic image. But Daniel, help us out here. Why do we need customer journey maps?
There's a few really good reasons for that, and it's also good for you watching this to have this as an internal selling to your stakeholders. So the first thing why journey maps is, when everything is alike, I mean from banks or whatever offering or service offering it could be, when everything is alike, the customer experience is the only differentiator. And the customer journey map is the best model to visualize this. So if you're in an industry and you see that the customer experience is the differentiator and use very often, or the only differentiator, the customer journey map is the model to visualize this and to work from the customer's perspective in a really professional and good way. And also that the one knowing the customers best and have the ability to transform it into offers will be a winner. And I think that everybody could agree on this, that there are two things: understanding customers and doing something of this know-how. That is what determines a winner. And the customer journey map, again, is really the best model to make those two things happen. And why do people do journey maps then? I mean, a very easy way to just explain it is to get the customer's perspective in a structured way. It's like the founder of IKEA. He's dead now. He was known for being a customer himself at the IKEA stores. That was one of his way to make those IKEA stores better. And the customer journey map is really a way to do that, to get your customer's perspective, to get your customer glasses on. And I think this is a really good quote from a Custellence user describing why customer journeys are so powerful. She said that by visualizing the connection between the customer journey and the internal processes, support systems, and point of contacts, it's easier to ensure that the prioritized changes actually contribute to a better customer experience. So I think she captured really what it's all about. Connecting customer perspective with our internal, the things that we do on the inside. Map. Map is kind of an important word in customer journey maps. And why do people do maps, and why do we work with maps? The first thing is to understand where we are. That's a really good reason why have maps. Another reason is to if we want to go from where we are today and to the point B, how do we go there? And it's exactly the same thing with customer journey maps. So you can say that the customer journey, it's a powerful, the customer journeys, there are powerful insights about the customer steps when going through the offer. And even if an organization doesn't do customer journey maps, you still have customer journeys because the customer is going through a journey. So just because you don't do maps of them, you still have customer journeys. And I think it's really important to remember that. Don't you think that those organizations that knows their customer journeys by doing maps will have a competitive advantage over those that have customer journeys but haven't made the maps? So, and the next part in the maps, maps are powerful ways to establish understanding of where we are and where we're going. So when putting those two together, you have customer journey maps. So super powerful to establish understanding of the customer's perspective in order to make changes and to go from point A to point B. So how should you then use a customer journey map? Quite important question. One way of using it is to use it as a documentation tool, as a library for customer insights and ideas, that we know a lot about our customers and we have to organize this. The customer journey map is the absolute best way to organize those insights so you can find them in the future. That's one way to use the maps. Use them to create a change plan. So creating maps to understand, like this image with a chess table, how are we going to change things here to be a winner in the future? What are the next smart movements that we are going to make here? So use them as change plans. And to get stakeholders and people around you aligned, both on the current state and also on the future scenario. So it's also a tool to get people on the same track, to collaborate and work in the same direction. And also, of course, using journey maps to fix either what's broken in an existing service or to drive innovation totally in new services or in existing services. So it could be either or. And what is then a customer journey map? It's a pretty good question, I think. You could say it in two ways. You could say it in text. This is the first line. And then comes how we could visualize it. A customer journey map is a visualization of the customer's steps with additional customer insights in a chronological line from left to right of your customer's way through your offer, service, or experience. That's simply what it is. And another way to say it is in an image. I mean, you have your customer steps here. Search for options, explore different options, select between, and then you have a lot of insights, so you connect those to the different steps, emotions, and those are the basic elements here. Interesting is that you see here on the lowest part, it's something. Okay, what do we actually add here? And there is a consensus about the elements that have to be in the customer journey map, but not about what we add and still call it the customer journey map. And that's very interesting because the added value comes from what we add for execution. The change driving lanes, you could call them. So on the top you have the customer journey parts, but if you don't do anything of it, it's useless. So in the lower parts, in this example you can see here, we have customer faces, customer journey, customer needs, customer emotions, and in the lower parts, potential opportunities. Do we have any opportunities to change things here? And do we have any ideas and solutions? And this is where the change is actually taking place. So this is just a very, very simple example. Usually it's much more complex than this, but it gives you an idea. You could look at customer journey maps this way as well, that it's made to achieve change, to glue together different touch points over a set of activities in the customer journeys with totally seamless. So this is also a way to just explain why the customer journey map, that the customer very seamlessly goes between different channels, you could call them. If you call digital channel or phone channel or what it could be. How are they then, how to use it in a good way? On the top here you see the customer journey and experience, like phases, activities, emotional curve, and here you see company solutions. I mean, those are all the different channels just in one lane over. It could divide them differently. This is just a very easy example where you have something that you send to the customer, then it's kind of a digital thing, and then it's kind of a mobile thing taking place here. And the interesting thing is that the CX, customer experience leading organizations, they understand the connection between the customer needs and the solutions. While those organizations that are customer experience laggers, then they develop with very low understanding of the customer's reality and needs. So they haven't connected what they actually are doing with the step in the customer journey and what the earlier steps and the steps that will come behind it. So this explanation is really good. Really take it to the board, to the managers, because this explains very, very clearly why customer journey maps are so powerful. So how does the customer journey map differ from, okay, and there's a lot of other things, and when to make what? How does it differ from user journey maps? It's basically no difference, actually. User journey maps and customer journey maps, that's the same thing. But customer journey maps are called user journey maps when you don't consider a customer here. So maybe you don't have a transaction, or in this image you have a baby. That's not a customer, that baby. That baby doesn't have a wallet. But it's definitely a user. But it could be, for instance, in public sector or something, or you don't think about customers. So do this when it's not really an interaction with the buyer. And I also see that user journey maps are more used when you don't have that holistic perspective. So maybe it's not an overall service design perspective, it's more maybe a more detailed UX perspective. So you're more looking at the actual user going through those things and not a commercial setup. But it's the same thing. It's based on the same logic as customer journey maps. And employee journey maps, again, it's basically the same, except that, and that's a very important difference, that it's about the employees' steps through this journey map. And so make those when you have employees that are kind of the customer here instead of an actual customer. And this is an example where the customer journey and the employee journey is side by side, and this is super, super powerful to make those side by side and to compare the gap here. What are the needs from the customers and what are the needs from your employees? And organizations that make those are really have an advantage, I would say, if you have a lot of employees meeting the customers. So tip, make those, put them side by side. How does customer journey maps differ from experience maps? Again, it's basically the same thing, except that experience maps, it's really emphasizing the experience part of it, with emotional curves, etc. And when to make those, or when to call your customer journey maps emotional or experience maps, that is when you maybe focus on bad experience, you're going to fix those, or if your main purpose mainly is to drive empathy internally. And it could really be those cases that empathy is the main thing, that you have to raise the level of customer empathy internally. Then it's really good to call it experience maps and to emphasize the emotional curves in your maps. So, service blueprints then. How do customer journey maps differ from service blueprints? The customer journey map is a part of the service blueprint. The top part of a service blueprint is a customer journey map. And then you add the on-stage lanes with all your touch points, all your channels. What does a customer meet? And then you add the backstage lane. What are we doing on the inside, supporting what the customer will meet? Internal activities, processes, support systems, etc. And that's the service blueprint. So make service blueprints when it's about how to deliver a better customer journey. But remember that the difference here is that the customer journey is a part of a service blueprint. And process maps. How do customer journey maps differ from process maps then? I mean, the process maps doesn't have anything to do with the customer journey at all. It describes what we are doing on the inside. I do something, I give to my colleague, giving to a colleague again, and then we use building processes of that, and then we develop IT to make that easier. And how does that actual activity connect to the customer's journey or to the customer in the process map? You have no idea. And the people working with processes have no idea how that certain process is connected to the customer, because that's not the purpose with the process map. So make process maps instead of customer journey maps when the connection to the customer journey map is not important. The important thing is to understand how we do things on the inside. And then it's very interesting to put the process map and the service blueprint side by side. And the interesting thing is that in the backstage part, the lowest part on the bottom, in a service blueprint, you have your processes. They are there on a higher level, I would say. The big difference here is how you understand in the service blueprint how this process step is connected to the customer's journey or the customer steps through here. So connecting process maps to service blueprint or connecting process maps to the customer journey through the service blueprint is a very powerful way to understand how do we make things on the inside in a better way to serve our customers. Let's talk a little bit about how the steps to create a valuable and useful customer journey map. What do you say about that, Mark?
Let's do that. Yeah, because I think that's a question we get also a lot.
Yeah. So there's a few steps here, and I'm not going to talk about all of them, a few of them. So first is before you start journey mapping, how to create the journey map and how to use the journey map to get results. And here's a lot of text on the next slide, and you don't have to look through everything. So before you start journey mapping, let's see, I'm going to change slide here again. We're going to talk about the first one. Define the purpose of your journey map, customer journey mapping. I think that's probably the most important thing here. So the first thing is to define the purpose of your customer journey mapping. And why are you actually doing this? And of course you're doing this for all those reasons, but I think it's really good to think it through before you start journey mapping to understand why are you actually doing this. If you don't do it for any of those reasons, why are you actually journey mapping then? I think that's also a good question to ask. So insight. I mean, journey map to because you collect insights and get an overview of the customer experience. I mean, is that a big purpose here? Collecting insights. Another thing is engaging. I mean, is the purpose to engage teams and stakeholders and creating a customer-centric shared view across organizations, etc. How important is that? Innovation. I mean, is it about better fulfilling the customer needs in certain phases, etc.? How much is it about innovation? How much is it about prioritizing? I mean, to use a map as starting point to prioritize, making better the biggest possible changes, etc. And realization. Is it to implement with the maps, to change things, and understanding what to do differently in the organization to really deliver and let's say execute. So usually it's all of those, but it's kind of a mix. See it as a mixing table. How much is it of what? I think many teams and people starting to journey map, they skip this step. And then you get questions from colleagues, why are you doing this? And the worst answer is because everybody else is doing it. The best answer is, we have a lot of customer insights here and we haven't organized them. So that's the most important thing, to prioritize based on those insights. Okay, you could say that if you have taken your time to think this through. Do it. I've been in cases where we haven't done it, so that's not that fun. Okay, which customer journey map should I choose to start with? This is a question, Mark. We got this many times, so it's really good to talk about that.
Yeah, because everybody says there are so many journeys, there are so many customers, there are. Should I make them all? Where do you start?
Yeah. And those are the 5 bullets. Let's call them the 5 golden rules here. The first one, start with an area where customer experience has an effect on important KPIs. So you have to understand your KPIs and then you start mapping where they have effects on those. And begin where a result that reaches customer can be achieved and then affect the internal KPIs. So start with areas where you could your solutions can reach the customer. And start within an area where you have mandate to influence. And I mean, all of those are kind of connected to each other. And start small. And instead of starting with the most important and most critical and most comprehensive area, I've done this. I've done this mistake. to start with the most important parts, and it was too big. We couldn't reach any results, so it was really hard to prove that it was so important for this business. So it's better to start small. Sooner or later you will come, if you build your case, you will come to the most important area later. So simply start anywhere and show results rather than arguing with your colleagues. It's so much easier to show best practices, create good cases, and get people with you than going around arguing that this is a clever way to work and we should do it. It's better to show results. So use those rules, and this will save you a few years, I think. And then there are different levels. As soon as you start journey mapping, you will see that one of the first questions will be, on what level do we put those journeys? And there are different journeys, and this is just a very simple framework that we started to develop that in my consultancy agency long ago. And when working in Custellence, you could work with all those levels, and there's not that there are any rules or something. You could work very flexible wherever you are with them. But this is a good way to think that level 1 is the highest level, and it describes maybe before, during, after. And it's good just to describe focus. Where do we have our issues? Level 2 is describing the activities that in this example before. Research different alternatives, signing up. And those steps could be in the before, it could be 4 to 10 steps. So on the level 2, the biggest journey you will have shouldn't be more than 30 cards and shouldn't be less than 12, something. On the level 3, now we go into sign up. What is actually happening when the customer is signing up? And that is one of the steps in the level 2. Check if time fits, log in, call the grandmothers to take the kids when I go to the dentist, if that's the case. And that's a very good level for developing details, to kind of rearrange the journey on this level. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say that on the level 2, it's about deciding where to dig deeper. That's the reason why we do a level 2, and everything has to be mapped on the level 2, and then you decide where to go deeper. But everything don't have to be mapped on a level 3, because you go there when you need to focus on those areas. And then we have level 4, and those are extremely detailed, like clicking here, doing that, opening this invite, redirecting things. And this is kind of IT web, really, or a speech or something that when you meet someone or whatever it could be.
This is almost process oriented, right?
It's very, very close to the processes. And mapping everything on that level would take you 3 years, and you don't have to do it because you have to fix the problems and not everything that works. So when starting journey mapping, you have to think of what lanes should you have, and this is good starting kit with lanes. Customer faces, before, during, after, just to have the top lanes and the top areas. The second one is customer journey, and there is customer activities and situations. Super important. Don't map touch points.
What do you mean? Don't map touch points?
Touch points are the interactions between our organization and the customer. And it has something to do with the customer journey, but it is not a customer journey. It is a customer journey when the customer goes through only our offer and only our interactions. But there are no such journeys because the customer will Google things, the customer will look at your competitor solution,
will ask the neighbor.
Ask the neighbor. And if you, or talk to the kids at home. I mean, what museum are we going to go to today? So the museum working with only their touch points won't understand that. How does that discussion around the table in the morning take place in this family? They won't understand that because that's not a touch point. I mean, it took me like 10 years of journey mapping to really understand this. So don't do the mistakes that I've done mapping touch points. That's super stupid. So start with activities and situations. And then customer needs. In this line, you describe the customer needs in this certain activity, and then emotional curve. And start when placing content in the map. Start from top and work your way down.
Why is that so important? Why are you saying that?
Because before, during, after is probably the basic setup, and what is then happening in before. So then we take the customer journeys with the different steps, and if we start from the bottom, we start with a lot of insights, but we don't know where to place them. So it will be a very hairy monster after a while, because you have insights placed on different and not ordered in the right places. So when placing content in the map, the best tip I would say is to start in the during phase and start in the first activity and situation in during, and then you work your way forward and work your way backwards. And why is this a good starting point? It is because this is the first place in the customer journey when the customer is a customer and you have a contact with them. And usually most organizations have very good processes and very good know-how about this step. So it's a good place to start. And you could work your way forward. And most organizations have really bad know-how about what happened before the customers came to us. How does this investigation phase how does it really work? Usually it's just a wishful thinking about we are the only provider here, etc. An example here, this is a question we get very often, and where does it start and where does it end? And this is an example from a mortgage. I mean, the starting thing is the first interaction here, or the first activity situation is getting a job in another city, or having another kid, so we have to move to another apartment. That could be really the first activity. And the last one is after 15 months, when moving out of this house, fixing the tax declaration, etc. But usually those depends on how much customer research do you actually have to go out here in the ends. But this says another thing, and that is that you can't make a customer journey by starting from the top left corner and starting to add things. You can't do it that way. It's not like writing a sentence. You have to start like writing the words in the middle of the sentence and then go out on the sides. And I see those mistakes. Very often in workshops, etc. Okay, now we start in the upper left corner. So what is the first activity here?
Yeah, or what people do, they spend half of the workshop debating what the start and the end of the journey is and haven't mapped anything halfway through. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also that's connected because you can't start there. And then it's a debate about it. So now it's time to place content in the map. And we talked about the highest level. It's not that much about that. It's before, during, after in most cases. And so the second one here, activities, situations, good questions to ask yourself here and the team is, what are the customers doing here? Or in what situation are the customers? Like getting sick. Yeah, that's definitely a situation. Or what applies to me? What does it cost? How does it work? And then adding needs. A good questions here are, what needs do the customer have in this activity situation? I mean, for instance, God bless you. Need to know how time it will take. Yeah, that's a good need. You know, how long time will this take? Or how much will it cost? I mean, when going to the hospital or the emergency room there, and you have to wait. I mean, one of the most important things, how long will it take? Will I have time to go and buy a sandwich or not? Or will the doctor come when I'm away for having a sandwich? And then the emotional curves. How does it feel for your customers in this activity and situation? So depending on the insight you have, how does it feel? Are they happy or unhappy? And that's a good way to visualize where should we then focus. So how long does it take to create a customer journey map? And here comes a slide with a lot of text. Take a deeper look at it later. But it goes back to the different levels that I talked about earlier. Level 1, I mean, if it's assumption based, it won't take you more than 20 seconds to just put it up in a good way. If it's research based, maybe it will take you a week to understand, is it really a before, during, after thing we're working on here? And in the level 2, if it's only assumption based, I would say you could have it in a good way in a day, if you don't have to stick around with bad tools. But if you have good tools to make this, it will take you a day. And research based, a month, I would say. And level 3, a week if it's assumption based, and research based, 2 months. And going all the way down to level 4, I mean, assumption based, 2 weeks, research based, 4 months. I mean, those are really, as you understand, in those very simplifying examples and generalizing things that offer services could be so different. But those are based on experience of like a few hundred projects. How long does it actually take? So there are no rules. So, but also what this says is that in one day you can have something. I mean, let's say it's a detailed level 2 map. It's not too complex. It's not wider than maybe 25, 30 cards horizontally. You have like intermediate team skills and maybe working with Custellence as your mapping tool, so you don't have to put any effort into the actual mapping and documenting. It just goes very smoothly. And so in one day you could have something that is good enough to show your boss and your stakeholders. So you have that day. I know you have that day, so there are no excuses not to start journey mapping. So what does it actually mean to customer journey map on a professional level?
Really important question.
Yeah, very important. And I'll go through a few parts here with professional versus non-professional customer journey mapping. Professionals, they map customer activities and situations first and then touch points. Non-professionals, they map touch points first and thereby they miss the customer interaction with others than us. And we talked about that earlier. It's really slow for me when I'm changing slides. That's why it takes me a few seconds all the time. But maybe it's good.
It gives a little bit of time to process what you just said.
Yeah. So professionals calibrate the level of customer research with the investments that the customer journey map will propel. And what do I mean with that? If we're going to do a huge change in this bank's process and how it's connected to the customers, and we will have an IT investment on a lot of money. It has to be based on proper customer research because we can't just guess. But if we're going to make a quick fix and we could fix it again after a few weeks and it's not that much invested in that, maybe we don't need that much research because we could just iterate going forward very, very quickly in small steps. By non-professionals, they either have vague research, no research at all, or they have too much research. I mean, there's a lot of customer journey initiatives that die in the research death because maybe they meet consultants or other people say that you can't do anything before we have done proper research and it will take us at least 6 months. And you don't need that deep research everywhere. You need that deep research in the places where you have decided to dig deep. And professionals know that. Non-professionals don't know that. Professionals focus equally on what start and stop doing based on the customer journey maps. So non-professionals think more about, we're going to do the customer journey maps, or the map here, to understand what we're going to start to do. And there are no such organizations that have a lot of time where they're not occupied. Most organizations, they do a lot of things, so they don't have any more time.
Yeah. And people start to hate customer journey mapping because of this, because every time people start to hear the word customer journey map, they see more work coming on their plate, right? This is like a super big beginner mistake.
Yeah. And so what you have to do and what professionals do is that they take the journey maps and the first thing they do is understand what could we stop do here. Based on the journey maps, what do we do that doesn't create any customer value? And stop do that. And use that time and resource to focus on the things that you should do. And then you will have friends internally and not skeptical people. Yeah. Professionals gives as much attention to before and after as the during, while non-professionals, they tend to neglect before and after, and they focus on the during because they have internal processes there. And I would say that the most important thing in most journey mapping works are the before. Because if you don't understand before, you can't make the best of the during phase. Professionals, they spread the maps across departments, they co-create, they share, they engage, they work with openness, and non-professionals, they consider the maps as our department's own secret. We have done this on sales, you on branding have to make your own map. Non-professionals say like that. While professionals, they share it and they collaborate, and I mean, that's really good with a tool, Custellence, that it's made for collaboration. You share with others and you invite people, and thereby you get a more powerful and bigger and impactful movement with people going with you instead of side by side or against you. Professionals consider left to right timeline in the journey map as holy. So if something is more to the left, it will take place before. While non-professionals, they kind of mix things up. They have it, but they do things that is not, the timeline is not that holy. And what that ends up in is that it's very hard to understand and it needs explanation. So you can't just send the map, invite someone to the map, just share it, because you have to explain it.
I've seen a map like this actually this week. I got a presentation from somebody who did a project. They created customer journey maps, and it was like, it looked really nice. They had nice pictures, good illustrations, and it was like sort of a map, but there were arrows like going everywhere, and there were like circles and drawings. And when you start to look at it beyond the way that it looks nice, you're like, this is just too complex.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
it's a classic. I think we've all seen this.
It's very classical. And I think that many organizations, they have got those from consultants that have to prove their value by doing over complex things, and it looks really good when you deliver it, but then when the consultant is out of the door, What do we actually do with this?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so the next difference between professional and non-professionals is that professionals, they make decisions and actions based on the custom journey maps and consider them as change plans. While non-professionals, they consider them as static and documenting things. So, I mean, professionals, they understand that those are like working with economy dashboards or something. You haven't just done that once and then it's ready. It's something that you keep on working with all the time to make good decisions and to act on those. And professionals, they value the output that the customer journey maps will result, while non-professionals, connect to what you said a second ago here, value the creation of a good-looking artifact. It's a piece of art,
and it feels that way. You don't want to mess with it. You don't want to touch it because it looks so good.
Yeah, we can't change it either because it's done in InDesign and it's greatly done. I've done this. I've been working with that for 15 years, so I know exactly the situation out there. But I've really come to the conclusion that we can't keep doing that. We have to totally focus on the output from the customer journey map and how working in the way that we could create maximum output. That was it. I mean, the difference between professionals and non-professionals.
All right. So, Daniel, I think this was a lot, but we're not done yet, right? There's one more thing that we need to talk about here in this masterclass, right?
Yeah.
And that is probably the question now. You've heard this, and again, there's a lot to process. I totally understand that. But sooner or later, you'll end up with the question, what's next? And the question, what's next, is you will want to create your own maps on a professional level, right? It's not enough to understand how they work. You need to get your hands dirty and start creating your own maps. And maybe you are doing this already, and maybe you want to take it to the next level. The things Daniel said will surely help you to do that, but we've got even more to really accelerate your learning and take your maps and your skills and your credibility, maybe your career, to the next level. So that's what we want to talk about in this sort of final section of this masterclass, because I think in customer journey maps, as we just said, if they are done right, they look simple, they look easy, but as we all know, as all the people who try to make a customer journey map, simple customer journey maps don't mean they are easy to create. And the example I'm giving here with the car is like, I think we sort of all understand the basic concept of how a car works. Like, we have a steering wheel and an engine and wheels, stuff like that. But even if you understand 90% of how a car works and it breaks down and you don't know the last 10%, you probably won't get the car running again. The car will still be useless. And it's the same with customer journey maps. You can sort of still understand like the 90%, but the last 10% will probably determine if you have a customer journey map that is helping you to create impact, to get stakeholders on board, to actually change a company towards a more customer-centric organization, or if it's a piece of art and probably a waste of your time. So details in customer journey mapping and how you make them really matter. And that's what we want to focus on here. So what kind of details? We sort of touched on this already. And it's details like, there are no details, but how much information should I add to my cards? Like, how detailed should it be? Do I need to do a lot of research, or can I just use 2 words? You can get that wrong and then it's useless. And for instance, what's the smartest way to structure my lanes, the horizontal lanes? Daniel already gave a few examples, but you'll see when you start making your own maps, you'll have to think about how to organize channels, how to organize employee process, how to organize IT. And there's a good way to do that, and there's a bad way to do that. So, and another thing is, how do I make a map that looks credible and feels inviting to other stakeholders. I think if you get anything out of this masterclass, I hope it's that customer journey mapping is a collaborative initiative. You can start on your own, but as soon as you can, you should invite other people to do it. And you can design for maps to be inviting. And I think not a lot of people think about that, and they start creating a map, and they will start to share it within the organization, and people don't recognize their own departments, don't recognize their own KPIs, and then you're sort of lost, and you're on your own, you're in a desert with your nice customer journey map. That's not what you want. So we don't want this. We don't want great long posters with a lot of post-its that look great in a session, but when you walk back into this room after a week, you sort of see 50% of the post-its lying on the floor and nobody looking at this map anymore. And I stole this photo from you, Daniel, because I know you were in this session.
Yeah, and that were many years ago, that session. And interesting is that in that session, the client here was kind of whispering, what if we could have this digitally instead of all those post-its?
Yeah. And I think we all sort of, I wouldn't say it's a mistake, but it's a process we have to go through. Like we do a few of these workshops and we see that our post-its eventually end up on the floor. And Daniel and I want to help you prevent that and really take it to the next level. So
yeah,
imagine what if you could create better maps, more valuable maps, and save time doing so. And if you would have the confidence to lead the customer experience discussion within your organization or with your client, not just participate in that discussion, but really lead it. Lead it because you feel and you know and you trust yourself and you know what you're doing. And if you would be respected as the customer journey hero and respected by your colleagues, respected by your clients, respected by agencies. That's what we are helping you to do here, and that's what we are sort of our wish for you. Now, you know, you can achieve these things, and I think what Daniel already said a few times, the secret sauce, if you will, here is you have to follow the right steps. It's not enough to have a messy process. You have to do it really consciously and follow the right steps. We've been creating maps since 1999 and teaching people how to do it. I think Daniel has created over 100, maybe 200 customer journey maps in his life. I've created a lot of them. Imagine how many iterations we've gone through and all the lessons that we've learned creating that, right? So, you know, if you would have to go through all those mistakes yourself, you would probably need, this is 20 years, maybe a little less, but a lot of time to create maps on the same level Daniel and I are making. So to speed up the process, we've done something that will hopefully help you to do that. And that is, we've sat down for, I think it was something like 3 months, Daniel. We put our hearts and efforts into creating the perfect map. That is a course that you can sign up for, and a lot of people already did, where Daniel and I basically show the process that we go through in creating a map. So if you want to take your skills to the next level and start creating your own maps or check how your process works, the perfect map is what we've created specifically for you. So what is it? Like I said, the perfect map, this course is going to allow you to create customer journey maps that actually make impact rather than staying up on the wall for a week and then disappearing. And what you're really going to get is a step-by-step guide which lays out the key principle and best practices, basically saving you years of trial and errors. Don't do it. We've made it. We've made all those errors. Just jump on the bandwagon and use the knowledge that we've gained. It's going to look like this. Basically, Daniel and I, again, in 7 video lessons that you can take in your own time, watch on every device that you would like. And we're going to show you how to create a map. In this course, you'll learn, let's see, the secret of good preparation. Like Daniel already touched upon this focus of your map. If you know that, the process will be so much easier. We'll also talk about how to make sure that you're mapping the right journey. Also something Daniel touched upon this in this masterclass, and we'll go into more depth in the course on this. What is the right journey? You know, how do you know that you're doing the right thing? We'll talk about the fundamental structure of a map. Like imagine if you sort of mess up the lanes in the beginning and you start mapping, and at the end discover, shit, I'm missing a lane here, or the order isn't right. You can start all over. We're going to help you to prevent that. And this is also super important. We'll show you how to connect your customer journey map to business KPIs, because if you're mapping something that isn't solving business challenges, I wish you good luck, because probably nobody will care. You will have a fun time, hopefully, but in the end, you'll fail to make impact. So we'll show you how to connect it to business KPIs. We'll help you to uncover the most valuable insights in the map, because of course, mapping is one thing. Documenting the existing situation is one thing. But if you want to do something with your map, and that is to uncover insight. And there's a process for that, and we'll show you how we do that and how you can do that too. And we'll show you how you can turn those insights that you've just discovered into action, because that's eventually what we want. It's great to have a poster that tells us a lot, but we want to change things. We want to put things into motion, and that's what we teach in this course as well. And finally, we wrap up the course by something that not a lot of people talk about, and you won't find online in all the material that I've looked for in customer journey mapping, and that is what happens after you've created a map, because that's the moment the actual work starts. So we'll teach you how to get the 10x value out of your efforts. Don't make the same mistake a lot of people make, like making a map and then using it once. There are so many useful use cases you can use your map for, and we'll show you how to sort of make sure that your map keeps giving you value way after you've created it for the first time. So it's maybe a big first time investment in making the map, but you can get so much more value out of it if you know what you're doing. So that's all that you're going to learn in the perfect map, and much more, of course. So the way it works is basically you get to look over our shoulders as we build a map and follow our thought process. So we're going to build a map from scratch, a customer journey map, and we'll talk you through all the steps we take, everything that happens in our heads, and why we make certain decisions. So it's not just, we're not going to give you, just follow these 7 steps and then you'll be okay. No, we really want you to understand why and how you make certain decisions, because we believe that that's really the essence that you need to go out into the field on your own and make good maps. So this course is for you if you want to get a head start and skip all the beginner mistakes. Like we said, we've packed all our knowledge into this course. But it's also interesting if you want to make sure you're not missing any important steps. Maybe you've been doing customer journey maps for 10 years and sort of build your own process, and you're not sure, is this actually working? Could I improve this process? Then this course is really a good mirror to see how Daniel and I use it, how Daniel and I create maps, and just see how your process compares to this. I'm sure there's something you can learn from it. So if you're a beginner and if you're already an expert, I think in both situations you can get a lot of this out of this. So stop wasting your time and energy creating maps that end up decorating your office walls. Be that customer journey mapping hero and start creating maps that make an impact. And one final testimonial by Anna, who did the perfect map, and she said, I'm doing the course for a second time and I need to tell you how much I love it. I recommend it to all my fellow designers and even clients, as it's relatively brief and practical. So that's what's in store for you. If you have any questions about what we discussed here or about the course, again, feel free to reach out to us. Daniel, any final words?
Good luck. I mean, hope to see you in the course. Hope to see you in discussions or LinkedIn or whatever, and hope to see you in Custellence. And good luck creating better customer experiences and reaching to the next level in your professional journey mapping. So, thank you.